Now, Mrinal, now we will go into, as I mentioned, these didn't remain just with the Puranas or the texts. They started flowing into the society. They started
Yes.
flowing into the rituals, the traditions, the vratas, the pujas, the mantras. All this started getting influenced by the what we are now listening to as stories in the Puranas. So, could you tell us something now about how this started influencing the traditional aspect of Narasimha worship in the form of the iconography of Narasimha, in the form of the vratas and pujas which are done, and probably they also are mentioned in the Puranas, probably of what kind of
Yes.
vratas you need to do for Narasimha, and then later aspects of what you find today as the worship of Narasimha.
Okay. Okay. There are many questions together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, you
To
can
go
start.
one by
You can
one.
start.
Let's see.
Yes, yes.
First, I will talk about little bit about the worship in, as mentioned in the Puranas, the vows, different vows related to Narsimha, because they are very, very different
Hmm.
from the whole idea of Narsimha that we have. Through the stories, the idea that we get of divinity, ferocious divinity who killed Hiranyakashipu, or who is the supreme devotion, place of devotion for people like Prahlad. There are a couple of stories in the Puranas, couple of vows in the Puranas which are in sync with this whole thing, or
Hmm.
the idea of Narasimha being an incarnation of Vishnu. So he is part of the vow called Dashavatara Vrata. One of the 10 rituals is associated with Narasimha. There are two, three more vows which are very, very classical, very clean vows, like Nrsimha Dwadashi Vrata, Nrsimha Chaturdashi Vrata. These are couple of stories, couple of vows that are associated with Narasimha, which are very Purana-like, which are
Hmm.
very classical, very clean. But most of the things associated with Narsimha, as far as the ritual part in the Puranas is concerned, or even the iconography part in the Puranas is concerned, is very much fearsome, very much
Hmm.
ferocious, very scary, and if I may say so, little tantric in nature,
Hmm. Hmm.
or magical in character. For example, we have a vow called Kalparaja Vrata, which has high Puranic, it's a Puranic vow with high tantric elements. Or we have ideas of, for example, Narada Puran talks about amulets and talismans that are to be inspired with the Narasimha mantra, and which then will protect us against evil, against ghostly afflictions, against diseases. So, or they are also said Narasimha worship, through Narasimha worship, one is also able to inflict floods or
Hmm.
whirlwind to destroy the enemy, to destroy his kingdom. Or we have Narasimha rituals to get rid of co-wives, or get rid of enemies, or destroy their kingdom, destroy their crops.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so these things do not match with the classical idea of Vaishnava vows. If we compare these ideas with general Vaishnava vows or Vaishnava things in general, or even Vaishnava forms in general,
Right.
do not match well.
Hmm.
They do not match well. Or if we go into the iconography part of it, today we have three main versions, three main types of Narasimha idols commonly found or commonly in worship. So one is obviously the Lakshmi Narasimha form, which is
Right.
the peaceful Narasimha form. Shanta Narasimha is the word used. So it is an idol where Narasimha is sitting, smiling face, with either one or two goddesses sitting on his one lap, left lap, or both laps.
Right.
Where it is only one goddess, it is Lakshmi, his wife.
Right.
And Narasimha is Vishnu's form, so his consort is Lakshmi. Where there are two, it can either be Bhudevi and Sri Devi,
Hmm.
because Earth is also supposed to be Vishnu's wife. So Earth and Lakshmi are the two wives, or Lakshmi and Chenchu Lakshmi.
Hmm.
Chenchu is his second wife taken from the Chenchu tribe of South India. So this is the most common idol, a very peaceful, nice looking idol. Another idol that we commonly see today is the Yoga Narasimha, the very common form, Yoga Narasimha, like we have in Hampi as well, a very
Right.
beautiful. Yoga Narasimha, actually, I feel somehow, because the Puranic myths, Puranic ideas, or even the folk ideas about Narasimha are not enough to explain this Yoga Narasimha thing. You know, we
Hmm.
have the Shasta image with a Yoga Patta.
Correct.
So we have Anjaneya image with a Yoga Patta. But I feel probably this is a remnant of the esoteric interpretation of Narsimha, which was done by Acharya Shankaracharya or Gaudapadacharya,
Hmm.
where he is taken as Brahma. So there is esoteric aspect involved. There is mystic angle involved to Narsimha there. That probably can explain the Yoga Narsimha form. We can
Yes.
now compare the idea of Yoga Narasimha and Yoga Anjaneya because they have something in common. I'll tell you what later. What do they have in common? But the Shasta idea is again very different. They are not really comparable that
Right.
way. So
Right.
this is one unusual form which is not discussed in the Puranas. Puranas usually talk only about Ugra Narasimha form.
Right.
Ugra Narasimha is where it is either a four-handed idol or 16-handed idol. There are a couple of descriptions. Where it is most common is the four-handed one, where the two hands hold Gada and Shankha or Gada and Chakra, the
Hmm.
weapons, and the other two hands are holding Hiranyakashipu on his lap. The demon is already torn apart,
Right.
and the nails with very sharp nails. The idol is obviously very fierce looking, with the mane of the lion made to look like a Prabha Mandala, a halo,
Right.
uh,
Right.
under
Right.
his head. Or there is at times the fire flames as the Prabha Mandala. And he is shown to wear the entrails of the demon as his garlands in his neck or
Correct.
around the shoulders. So that is how it's supposed to be depicted as per most of the Puranic versions.
Hmm. Hmm.
They talk about Yoga Narasimha, they don't even talk about the Lakshmi Narasimha form. We have
Right.
only Yoga Narasimha.
Right.
And another image that is explained in Narada Purana depicts him to be like Rudra. He is a form of Rudra, they say. And so he looks like Rudra has five heads, like Shiva has.
Hmm.
Panchamukhi, and he has three eyes. There is crescent moon. There is snakes as his ornaments all around him. Blue throat. So
Beautiful.
he's Shiva, he's Rudra.
Ah.
And these two, three, four things together are so much in contrast with each other, where you
Correct.
have a storyline where he is form of Vishnu. So as form of Vishnu, he's supposed to be Rajasa, like most of Vishnu's form, very
Right.
beautiful to look at, very soothing, very pleasant.
Correct.
And then you have a very ferocious looking form. It's scary.
Right.
So these two things don't go together. They are not in sync with each other, which is why this happens when you are trying to color one with the shades of another.
Right. And
You
it's actually very interesting, Mrinal, you mentioned this
yes,
because typically we associate Vishnu with maintenance activities, with sustenance
yes,
of the universe
yes,
is what Vishnu
yes,
is associated. and Rudra is associated with the destruction.
With the destruction, very much
So
so.
probably this was a very unique combination where Vishnu comes as a destroyer, as an annihilator, and probably this struck at some point to say that he must be having the Rudra Amsha, or
Yes,
or in
yes.
some cases like he's a form of Rudra itself. And just I would like to add here, and this is what we see in many of the temples today also. The Pradosha Puja is very considered very sacred for Shiva, where
Yes.
during
Pradosha
the
Vrata is
Pradosha
done in
Kala,
honor of Shiva.
correct. So the Pradosha Kala, you do the Rudra Japa and Abhisheka to Rudra. At the same time, in the Vaishnava temples, the same time is devoted for Narasimha. So
Right.
the
So, Vaishnava temples,
Vaishnava,
right. Very true.
they uh, they propitiate Narasimha during that same time. So this could be one very beautiful parallel, that we find that when
Yes.
Rudra
In
is
worship.
being propitiated here, it is Narasimha being propitiated there. So some kind of
Very
similarity
true.
exists.
Very true. And again, he will not be worshipped. Narasimha will not be worshipped or shown as any other form of Shiva. He is usually associated with a ferocious form like Bhairava.
Right.
So, which is a very interesting thing for me. And while studying the deities, two deities, one for MPhil and one for PhD, I realized though they belong to separate pantheons, one is a Shaiva deity, one is a Vaishnava deity, yet they have so much in common. So
Yes.
much. This is what happens when you take a folk deity or different aspects of folk deities and then you try to fuse them in
Correct.
a classical tradition, which is
Absolutely.
what is done in these two deities.
And actually, here, Mrinal, when you earlier mentioned also about the Lakshmi Narasimha form, and you said that typically there is also the concept of Chenchu Lakshmi.
Yes,
So it's very much possible that he was the deity of that tribe, right? In
yes.
Andhra, probably, which is what then later on also probably has got assimilated into the overall culture.
Hmm.
Probably was already there. Of course, it's very difficult to determine the antiquity of uh, for how many years was he that tribe existed or
Other
the
god,
folk
right?
was the deity, etc. But clearly, we see some kind of an assimilation of this thought also into the Puranas when we see that the iconography
Yes,
part of
yes, yes. Because it is not normal, it is not common for Vaishnava idols, Vaishnava images to be like this. And
yes,
example that you mentioned, Chenchu Lakshmi again or Chenchu tribe again, because I just read somewhere very recently, not during my study days, but recently, that the tribe was earlier worshipping
hmm,
Mallikarjuna as their son-in-law, Jamai, as their son-in-law.
right,
He
right,
was worshipped more. So the whole entry of Vaishnavism, Vaishnava Bhakti into that region came through Narasimha. Because if he is married to Chenchu Lakshmi, he becomes their immediate son-in-law. Unlike Shiva, through Parvati, he is direct son-in-law, so he is supposed to be, pampered.
right, right,
Just worshipped but pampered. So the whole group went from worshipping only Sri Shailam Mallikarjuna to worshipping Narasimha. And when I visited Mallikarjuna temple, I found a very beautifully carved Narasimha idol kept almost, you can say, locked behind one in a corner thing, in a corner
yeah,
room. It was not in worship. There were some flowers offered to the deity, but it was not commonly accessible to all. We had to see it through that gate,
okay,
and it was wonderful to realize how a deity takes over another and how things happen when we are actually in day-to-day worship and ritual things. And
absolutely, absolutely,
there are just too many things that go into the formation of Narsimha, as in the myths and the rituals is two different things
yeah.
completely.
And here it's very interesting. You mentioned about Sri Shailam. And of course, you have in the Puranas also that he went and settled in the mountains
Settled down.
there. There is a very interesting, the correlation that they build, especially among the temples of Ahobilam, which is where it is considered to be the Navanarasimha, the 9 temples of Narasimha, which is very sacred
Yes.
in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Ahobilam, Sri Shailam, and Tirumala, they are generally taken to be in one line. Like they
Okay.
considered as a cobra, as a snake, which has got one temple as the hood, one temple as the middle portion, one temple as the tail portion. Sort of formation which connects Ahobilam, which is the Narasimha, this one, which connects Sri Shailam, and Tirumala is a separate discussion in itself, which also
Right.
there has been a lot of
It's a very big
discussion on
topic,
the
right.
form of the Lord there. So it's a very interesting, correlation that you say. And the other point also that struck me, especially when you spoke about the two iconographical forms which are very common, the Yoga Narasimha and Lakshmi Narasimha. Of course, I think the moment it comes to Upasana, even today, the people will dread having fierce forms in their houses. So probably the Ugra Narasimha, though the Puranas were truthful in representing the Ugra Narasimha as the form, the later traditions and when it came to practice, it started getting
It started, yes, changing.
going away. And Lakshmi
Right, true.
Narasimha is Shanta. Naturally, everybody wants to propitiate. And the Yoga Narasimha, as you rightly said, it's a very, very interesting thing, especially linking back to the Acharyas also. When you mentioned about Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya also, and linking to Brahma. Interestingly, even I've observed the Acharyas of Sringeri, they have a lot of upasana for Narasimha. In fact, many of the acharyas, the name itself is Nrsimha Bharati. Many times, the Nrsimha itself will come in their yoga
Yes.
their name,
Titles, right.
their titles, and they have been upasakas of Narasimha. And you have the very famous episode of Padmapada becoming Narasimha and killing the Kapalika when he wanted to behead Acharya. And this episode actually happened in Sri Shailam. So you have a beautiful panel in Sri Shailam temple which depicts the story. So a lot of correlations, a lot of things coming together.